How's it going, guys? Today I'm going to be showing you how to make Euro Trance, like always 8:15. Today we're going to be looking at this track Only For You. Here's a snippet of what it sounds like. So this track Only For You is in the style of DJ Heartstring, DJ Daddy Trance, and all these sort of producers. The genre hasn't really got a set name. Some people call it Euro Dance, others call it Euro Trance. I've heard someone call it TikTok Trance, I think that was Julian Earl. So yeah, it is whatever you want it to be, but it's a sort of modern trance. It's my favourite genre at the moment and I've been making tons of it. Let's firstly start with the drums. These drums are for my new Euro Trance drums pack. You can get that from the link in the description. The pack has over 300 loops, one-shots and effects for making sick trance like DJ Heartstring, DJ Daddy Trance and many others. This pack is also dropped with a Serum preset pack, which I'll get onto later. But for now, I'm going to show you how to make these drums. Firstly, you need a kick. So yeah, you need a really heavy kick or something like a 909 kick. We then want that to hit on every beat. We then want to put a clap on top of that. This needs to fall on every second beat, like so. The clap, I've also added some overdrive just to make it a bit more crispy. Once you've got the kick and the clap, you need to add a hat. This goes on every offbeat, so just like the kick, which is here, goes on every offbeat. Then you need a shaker loop. This is really important. The pack has loads of sick shaker loops, so definitely have a look in there. You then want another shaker loop on top, just to get it really filled up. Once you've got that, you need to add some percussion. So a lot of the DJ Heartstring and always 1815, they use a lot of like cowbells. It's very sort of like 80s, but yeah, I fucking love it. So yeah, let's have a look. If you want to have a look at obviously the notes I'm hitting. So 1.13, a double hit, 213, single hit, double, single. And it just repeats itself. And it's got a bit of reverb and delay without it. It sort of falls a bit short. So the reverb sort of puts a nice bit of tail on it. In terms of effects, I've actually got no effects on really any of them because the pack obviously has effects on it, so you don't really need to add your own. Obviously, I've left enough headroom that you can. But yeah, in this case, I didn't really feel like I need to blast it with a load of like compression and all that sort of stuff. You can always do that in the final mix down master. I feel like a lot of videos put a lot of emphasis on you need to add, you've got to have distortion, you've got to have loads of compression and all this stuff on your drums or anything for that matter, your lead or bass. But I feel like a lot of the time it's not actually needed and people can get carried away with adding too many effects like reverb, chorus, and it sort of takes away from the sound itself and it sort of gives you a really weak, wishy-washy mix. So yeah, it's easy to get lost in adding too many effects. Sometimes it's best to just keep it clean. Now we've got the drums, we can move on to the bass. So this bass is actually made in Serum and is a preset for my Euro Trance pack, which is also dropped along with the drums pack. It's got over 60 presets for making the sickest Euro Trance music, so definitely check it out. I'm going to show you now how to make this bass from scratch. Great, so initiate preset, oscillator A, analog, and find acid, BS2 acid. Leave it on the first bit, it's going to sound like that. Pitch it down an octave, chuck a filter on it. Put, I don't know, NG low 18, envelope, let's sort of sculpt that. So this is the amplitude envelope, but we're also going to be using it to control the filter. We then drag that, got to bring this down. We then drag that onto the cutoff. Sounds like that. It's also going to be hard to get it exactly like my preset, but I'm going to show you how to get it close enough. Great, so if you have a look at the MIDI, we're in the key of G minor, and we start on D sharp, and the rhythm sort of just plucks along. Exactly the same. So look, this is just repeating itself. It's the exact same. And then up to F, repeating the same rhythm. And then down to D. And there's just a little double hit here. But yeah, it's pretty similar to this rhythm. But yeah, the rhythm does change slightly on this last hit. But you can also just keep it the same. It's sort of just to add a bit of variation. Let's bring up the drive. Bit of res. Bit of fat. Let's try adding a bit of distortion. Bring that res down. Let's try an MG Load 24. Distortion. So beefing it up a bit. Don't want to overdo it. Let's add a bit of compression. Increase the gain. Let's hear it with the kick. It's always good when you're sculpting your own sounds from scratch to play them with contrast to the track. That way you can obviously hear if it fits in properly. Great, now I've got the bass, I can show you the lead. This is what it sounds like. Great, so let me show you the MIDI for the lead. So it's basically just climbing up the scale. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, there's not very much rhyme or reason apart from that. It sounds good. So yeah, if you want to obviously have a look at that, you can. But yeah, you're sort of just working up the scale, and at the end, you're just working back down. C, I've always said, is a good note to finish on. But yeah, it depends obviously what scale you're in. So yeah, this is also made in Serum and is also, you guessed it, a preset for my new pack. This is sort of like a super saw, so I'm going to run you through it really quickly. Great, so if you go to oscillator A, analog, MDC, we want that in both oscillator A and B, analog, MDC. Get the wavetable position on a macro, that way we can control it. So if you pull that up, it will see changes, and it's going to change the sound. So if we can control them both with a macro, then we can get them to change in unison. So look, they're both changed at the same time. But then want to detune one, about -10, I don't know, +8, something around that. See, already that's completely changed the sound. We then want to add some unison. So what that's doing is basically, if you have a look at it like this, that waveform is being duplicated. So there's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's do 8 of them, 10 of them. We then can control the detune. So if we have it really high, it's going to sound like a swarm of bees. Like, honestly, it's probably the worst sound in existence. But yeah, if you bring down the unison, you bring down the detune to the unison, it's going to sound nice. Bring up the levels. I forgot to mention I've also got this reverb on here. So down here I've got this third-party reverb. Without it, it's going to sound a bit fucked. But yeah, if you go to effects, you can add your own reverb. But you also have a bit more control over like the Ableton's own reverb. But yeah, if you want to copy those settings, you can. Just got it on high quality, decay of that, nice dry wet. You can also add an EQ, either externally or in the plugin. Sort of bring out the crispiness. Great, now we've got the lead, we can move on to the atmosphere. So this is really simple. It's really quiet as well. Don't know if you're even about to hear it. Let me turn it up for your listening pleasure. So this just sits in the background, obviously in the same key as the other notes. I'm going to get onto the MIDI at the end. But yeah, if we have a look at the pad sound, it's just this PMW Inception wave with a bit of unison and this LFO controlling the filter a little bit. Yeah, and here's the MIDI for the atmosphere. So again, we're always in the key of G minor for this song. Just sort of building up like a string. Really simple. And then that just holds. And lastly, we have this vocal, which is just from Splice. And lastly, we've got the effects. So in the effects, we have this crash. So a crash build is really important in this style of music. And all it is a simple crash, but then you just, before the drop, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then crash on the beat when it drops. And also with the crash, you need to sort of drown it out with a nice bit of white noise. Make sure you sidechain that. And yeah, also drown it out with a bit of rise on the way up. Great, thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that video and I hope you found something useful. Comment down below what video you want to see next. Cheers.